gonna check the lights. All right. So when you come out with the tester, she's gonna walk with you. She's gonna give you your instructions, and then you come on and you tell her, all right, we're gonna check our lights. So you come inside. Watch that door. It's gonna close. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on all my lights. So I'm gonna put my four ways on, put my headlights on so I can see the high beam. Make sure my clearance lights are on, and I'm gonna turn on my student warning lights. That's gonna come on, and when I open the door, that's gonna come on. We'll go outside. We'll start from the top, work our way down. So, turn on my scooter. Alright, so my clearance lights are working. My student warning lights and the reds are working. My headlights and high beams are working. And my four ways are working. To the side, all my clearance lights are working, my stop sign is working, my four-way flash is working, flash is working, stop sign is working, clearance lights to the back is working, student water lights to the back are working, four ways are working, parking lights are working, tag light is working. Yeah, my step light is working. Now we're going to check each turn signal one at a time. So I'm going to turn off some of the lights and put my left turn signal. So I turned off my high beams, my four ways, and my student lights. So now my headlights are working in low beam. This becomes the parking light, so my right parking light works. My left turn signal works. Left turn signal. And my left turn signal. Now we gotta check the lights out. Left parking light works. Right turn signal works. Right turn signal works. Right turn signal works. Then you would ask the tester if they can stand back here while you check your brake lights and your student warning lights in the amber color. Alright, so you can stay back here so you can film. I'm going to pre-trip the rest of the bus. So I'm going to make sure that the bus is not leaning to either side, because if it was, it could be either a suspension problem or a flat tire. I'm going to look at my clearance lights. They are all secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. The proper color is amber. Check my student warning lights. They're amber and red in color, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. The lid above them are properly mounted, secure, not cracked or broken. The school bus sign is visible. It's not faded, and you can see it clearly. My windshield is secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. There are no illegal stickers or anything that would obstruct the driver's view. The rubber seal around the windshield is secure, not cracked, damaged, not leaking. It's not peeling off or dry rotted. My wipers, properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken. The rubber blade is not torn, and it has the proper tension to the windshield. My side view and cross view mirrors are all properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. My headlights are secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, along with the hazards and turn signals, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and they're clear and amber in color. Then I'm gonna look underneath the bus. I'm gonna make sure I have no loose hanging wires or hoses. I'm making sure that there's no puddles that could indicate that I have a leak. Then I'm gonna look at my steering parts from here. So I have my pitman arm, my drag link, my upper and lower steering arms, and my tie rods. They're all secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and all the cotter keys are in place. Then we'll come to this side. Turn the wheel. Here I'm going to check my front and rear spring mounts, my leaf springs, my U-bolts and clamps. They're all secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. My leaf springs have not shifted, and I'm not missing any leaf springs. Then I'm going to check my shock absorber, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Then I'm going to check my air hose and my air chamber. Secure, not cracked, damaged, not leaking any air. Then I'm going to check my S-cam, push rod, and slack adjuster. They're all secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and my slack adjuster should not have more than 1 inch of play. Then I'm going to check my brake pads and drums. They should be secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. The pads should not be worn too thin. The drum should have no illegal welds. Then I'm going to check my mud flap. My mud flap should be properly mounted, secure, not cracked or damaged. No excess buildup of debris. Come to my tire. My tire should have 100 pounds of pressure of air. I could check it with a rubber mallet or an air pressure gauge. I'm going to check the inner and outer tire walls for any rips, cuts, or cords. The tread should be in the front no less than 432. I cannot have retread tires in the front, no mismatched tires anywhere on the bus. Then I'm going to check my rim. Rim should be secure, not cracked or damaged, no illegal welds. My lug should be secure, not rusted, loose, or missing. My hub oil seal should be secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. And my valve stem should be secure, not cracked, damaged, not leaking any air, and it should have a cap in place. Then I'm going to check my fuel tank. Should have a door in place that's properly on the hinges, secure. The fuel tank should be properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged. I will look underneath for any leaks, and I should have a cap in place. Then I'm going to check all my lights, lenses, and reflectors on this side of the bus. They should all be secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. To the front of the bus, they're amber. To the rear of the bus, they're red. Then I'm going to come to the rear axle. And on the rear axle, again, I'm checking my front and rear spring mounts, my leaf springs, my U-bolts and clamps, my shock absorber, my air hose and air chamber, my S-cam push rod slack adjuster, my pads and drums, my mud flap, my tire, my rim, my lugs, my hub axle seal, my valve stem. I'll check all those things the same way as I did in the front. The difference is I have dual tires, so they should have a spacer in between the tires. The tires should not be rubbing together, and there should not be anything stuck between the tires. The tread in the rear should be no less than 232, and I can have retread tires in the rear. I'm going to check the engine compartment. The engine compartment on this side, first thing I'm going to check is my oil, which is back here. You don't have to physically do it, but you're just going to tell them I will pull it out, wipe it off, reinsert it, pull it back out, and make sure it's at its proper level, and I would do that with the engine off. My power steering fluid reservoir and hose should be secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. It should have a cap, and I would check the dipstick the same way as I did the oil, and I could also check by sight. Then I'm going to check my air compressor and hose. It's secure, not cracked, damaged, not leaking any air, and it's gear driven. My power steering pump and hose, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and that is also gear driven. That's it for this side. Back here. Again, I'm checking all lights, lenses, and reflectors. They're all secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. My clearance lights, student warning lights. These are now parking lights, and reflectors are all red. My other student warning lights, hazard and turn signals are amber. My reverse and tag lights are clear. Then I'm going to make sure that my school sign in the back is visible. None of the letters are faded out. The glass is not cracked, which I didn't say in the front. The glass is not cracked, and it's secure. Then I'll come down to the emergency exit door. The emergency exit sign is visible. Glass is secure, not cracked or damaged. The lock is in place. Then I'll check my tailpipe. My tailpipe is secure, not cracked or damaged. It's not flat, and there's nothing stuck inside, and it's not leaking. Then I'll check the other side of the engine compartment. And on this side, I have my coolant tank and hose. Secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. It's above the add mark, and the cap is in place. Then I have my water pump. It's secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. My alternator is secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Both the water pump and the alternator are run by the serpentine belt. Serpentine belt should be secure, not cracked or damaged. It should not have any rips or tears, and no more than 3/4 of an inch play. Then I'm going to check this side of the bus exactly the way I checked the other side. The only differences on this side is I have stop signs. So on the back, stop signs have to be properly mounted, secure, not cracked or damaged, not missing any of the hardware, and the stop signs have to be red in color. Then I'm going to check my emergency exit door. Should be secure, not cracked or damaged. The window should be secure, not cracked or damaged. Emergency door signs should be visible. And the door should be able to open and close and be on the hinges. Then I'm going to look underneath the bus. All right, so underneath the bus I have my drive shaft. Of course, you're going to squat down and look under when you do it, doing the test. So you got the drive shaft, secure, not cracked or damaged. It has the U-clamps in place, and there should be no foreign objects stuck inside. The exhaust system from front to back should be secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking any carbon rust or soot. And the frame and cross members should be secure, not cracked, damaged, not leaking, and no illegal welds. And I come up front. The bus has fuses, so here's the fuse box, and I have spare fuses inside. Then I'm going to check my wiper fluid container. It's secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. The hoses are in place, not leaking. The cap is in place, and I have enough for my trip. Then I'm going to check my gearbox. Gearbox and hose is secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and not missing any of the hardware. Now we'll work our way inside. My door should be properly on the hinges. It shouldn't be loose. The glass should not be cracked or damaged. The rubber seal should not be pulling off, and I should be able to open and close. Check my step tread. My step tread should be secure tightly. There should not be any trip hazards. My handrail should also be secured tightly, properly mounted, not missing any of the hardware. My step light should be secure, not cracked or damaged, and clear in color. Then I come in. I will make sure that I have my first aid kit and my body fluid kits. They're properly mounted, secure, and they have all the proper contents inside. I'm going to put my electrical on. Watch that door. Alright. I'm going to check my floor tread. My floor tread should be secure, should be free of any debris or trip hazards. I'm going to check my seats. My seats should be properly mounted, secure, not cracked or damaged or loose. There should not be any rips or tears that could harm a passenger. I check it all the way to the back. Then I'm going to check my emergency exit windows. All the emergency exit signs are visible. I'm going to open it, make sure the alarm that works. I'll check one on this side. That will be fixed. The alarm is going to work on this side. Then I will check all the other emergency exit windows the same way as I just did. This one. I would also check the back emergency exit window. Then I'm going to check the roof hatch. I'm going to turn the knob. Check the other one the same way as I did that one. And then the emergency exit door I would also check. Alright. Then I'll go to the driver's area. Alright, first thing I'll check here is my seat belt. Make sure it's properly mounted, it's not ripped or torn, and it adjusts and locks. Check my seat, make sure I can adjust it. Check my steering wheel, make sure that I have no more than 2-inch play on a 20-inch wheel, and my horn, that works. I'm going to check my side view and cross view mirrors just to make sure that they are properly adjusted for me, as well as my passenger mirror should be properly mounted, secure, not cracked or damaged, and adjust it where I can see the passengers. Then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to start with my heater. My rear heater works on low, works on high. Come up here, I'm going to check my dome lights. Those work. as well as my passenger door light. That works. And I'm going to come down here, check my front heater, works on low, and my defroster works on low. Okay. Now I'm going to check my gauges, and for the gauges I'm going to start the bus up. Alright, so I'm going to start. My temperature gauge should show that the engine is not overheating. My oil gauge should be between 25 and 75. My fuel gauge should be enough for the trip, or at least a half a tank. My battery gauge should be properly charged in the green. And my air pressure gauge should be between 100 and 120, which it is, which allows me to do the air brake test. So I'm going to do the air brake test now. So for that, what I'm going to do is turn the engine off, put my electrical on, release the parking brake, put my foot firmly on the service brake. I'm going to ask the tester if she could time me for 1 minute, and we're going to make sure that I don't lose more than 3 psi in a minute. You also could bring your own timer and see which one they want you to do. But you can't do anything until the minute is up. So if they're timing you, don't do anything until they say the minute is up. Once the minute is up, okay, I did not lose more than 3 psi in a minute. So now I'm going to fan the brakes down to test my alarm system. It should come on at 60. And then between 20 and 30, the parking brake should pop out. Parking brake popped out, alarm came on, all systems work. That's the end of the air brake test. So now I'm just going to build my pressure back up. And while the pressure is building, we can check our lights on the dashboard. So I'll start with my left turn signal, that works. My right turn signal works. My four ways work. And my high beam works. All the lights on the dashboard works. And just build the pressure up. Give it gas, it goes faster. And I'll keep doing this until I hear the tank is full with the pop.
Are you taking high beams on?
Just flick it.
Yeah.
So with the air brakes, that's where most people fail. Did you pass your first time?
Yeah. I went to the first time I went to Allstate.
Went to Allstate? Yeah, sometimes they forget to turn on the electrical or forget to push in the parking brake. I had one lady 2 weeks ago. She always, when we practiced, did the pre-trip perfectly. And went up there and forgot to push in the parking brake.
Yeah.
So she had to go back a few days later. She passed it next time. Now what I'm going to do is I'm I'm going to check the parking brake to make sure that it holds the bus. So I'm going to put it in drive, and I'll put my foot on the service brake. And I'm going to give it gas. Bus doesn't move, so the parking brake works good. Then I'm going to check my brake here and make sure that the bus comes to a complete stop. My service brakes. So release the parking brake, and I'll just drive a couple of feet up. Stop. Bus comes to a complete stop, doesn't sway to the left or to the right, so my service brakes work good. And now I'm going to check my gears to make sure that my gears are locking into place. So reverse, neutral, drive, then my lower gears, 4, 3, 2, 1. So each gear goes into place. Now what I'm going to do is just take a minute and think if I forgot anything. I haven't forgotten anything, so that's the end of the pre-trip.